Bezos, who was just behind the mastermind behind the world's largest online shopping enterprise, Amazon, secretly Lex Luthor, he often said, I get 8 hours of sleep a night. I'm pretty disciplined about that. And it's the only way I can keep up with everything. And for the athletes present in the Olympics right now, let's take a look at tennis superstar Serena Williams. She was quite evocative of the key role sleep played in her performance. She said, if I don't get my 8 hours, I start feeling a little woozy. I might not know the meaning of the word woozy, but I'm guessing that it doesn't bode well for the world following number one in women's tennis during a tournament. This example is going to be universally loved. From a male actor and Mr. Olympia, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and guess what? He too often credited his success to sleep, saying sleep was the most important thing in bodybuilding. Sounds great, doesn't it? So, why is it that we don't sleep? Although our very role models touted as the most important ingredient to their success. Well, let's go through the reasons. Starting with the classic excuse, you have too much work. With the busy lifestyles we all lead, especially as high schoolers, let's put aside that quick reason in space. I can exercise a good number. Would you agree with me if I said that with all that overwhelming challenges of the course tour, there's just that one assignment that's due tonight, and you have to finish it to keep up with the deadlines? You would still sacrifice a few hours of your sleep to do that, keep your hands raced up. I have immense respect to those of you who have known your hands. You have incredible time management skills. But I can't help but agree with the rest of you because sometimes with the challenges of the course tour, especially IB or IGCSE, is those moments that you have to sacrifice a few hours of your sleep to keep up with those deadlines. In fact, I'm a firm believer that high school is the most challenging part of any person's life, speaking from my experience, of course. But I think for most people, it's the panic that comes from realizing that you have a day at night and a good habit of procrastination that you have done not a single bit of work. You see, my fellow procrastinators presently, you would agree with me when I say that it does not take a lot to distract us from our work. We'll be sitting here perfectly focused, but then the notification pops up. If your YouTube has just posted, and before you realize it, 2 hours gone from your YouTube page, and when you come back to your desk, immediately a friend calls you up, asking if you're following the Indian Premier League match today. Oh no, I've got a bit of work to do, this is important, but we're not going just in a century. This is the manage to watch. And this follows. So at the end of the end after the match, you finally come back to your desk and you realize that you have procrastinated, you have overdone relaxation, you have put leisure over work, and to fix that, you're going to put work back on top. It doesn't matter if it's going to be 1 hour, 2 hours, or even the rest of the night. You're not sleeping until you finish that one assignment that you assigned yourself all those hours ago. You see, this is me the night before the chemistry test. And after a little bit of studying, me and my friend, we decided to take a little break. And the little break snowballs into 2 hours of chatting and wasting time. And then at 12 a.m., with just 7 hours left to report to the exam hall, we realized that we had no motivation to pick up our textbooks again and finish that last chapter. So what do? We decided to have a little stop. But what I'm actually focused on right now is my brain. Specifically, my brain and what is happening inside it 2 hours past my bedtime. You see, if you zoom in on my brain with all this green mass, you can see these little stick figures seemingly holding on to each other in a chain. Those, to expert psychiatrists, would be called neurons. All that chemistry that I studied a while back, once I read and understood the page, is being converted to neural pathways in my brain, solidifying that knowledge through memory. Now let's get back to my brain. Now, at 11 p.m., did you see something else apart from my neurons in my brain? It's a massacre. One that will leave me blank for the rest of my life tomorrow. Except, this is what happens if I sleep instead. You see, my body naturally has a really good process of flushing out these toxic producing waste from my body through the lymphatic system. And guess what? It only happens when I'm asleep. So, now that we know the reason behind the importance of sleep and how it helps protect and reinforce our memories, let's get back to the third reason that people don't sleep. You see, high school is incredibly stressful for all of us. I can only imagine the amount of stress working professionals undergo. And all of this stress, to cope with it, our body produces cortisol. And cortisol is useful because it helps you focus and helps you perform better at your tasks. And from high stress careers, sometimes there is an elevated level of cortisol, a chronically elevated level of cortisol that can result in a disruption in your natural sleep cycle, also called insomnia. See, my father was an insomniac. He would go to bed at 10 p.m., only to lay awake for 2 hours, tossing and turning. And when he finally fell asleep, he would wake up again in just 4 hours. This was not healthy, nor sustainable. And when I looked into it, I found out that my father is not alone in this struggle. In fact, over 30% of the global population struggles from different levels of insomnia. And I decided to do something about that. So I built a sleep app, which I creatively named Somnia. And this is how it works. The app projects a bright yellow circle to the ceiling, one that gently expands and contracts, urging the user to synchronize their breathing with it. And over time, the algorithm slowly reduces the breathing rate from 11 breaths per minute down to just 6 breaths per minute. And in doing so, reduces your heart rate and automatically lowers your cortisol levels, leading to a naturally induced state of sleep. Now, taking a step back then, I mentioned that my father was a former insomniac. That's because after 2 months of using this app, I'm happy to say I am extremely proud to say that my father has had a restful, refreshing night of sleep every single day since 200600 other insomniacs. So now, what is our mission critical statement from here? We all lead busy lifestyles, and in all the hustle and bustle of juggling studies, sports, and the social life as a high schooler, I can only guess what a working professional might have to manage in their lives. There is, people usually neglect to keep on sleep. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of my talk that sleep is boring. It is. But that doesn't mean we should take it for granted because it is a major reason behind productivity and success. So I just want to end with this statement. For those of you present in the audience that have slept through this